and welcome to Trashy Trashy, where we take a dumpster dive on this week's garbage people and a look at all the trashiest news stories. My name is Erica, and I am your host.
My name is Cassandra. I'm your other host, and I am just grinning from ear to ear right now.
I literally cannot stop smiling. I could barely get through that introduction.
We had made a discovery moments before we started recording. Well, I don't know. Do you want to just how do we preface this?
So I was going to tell a historical trash of one time I was at a Hollywood party and I was looking for the alternative bathroom because there was a very long line and I had to do something that you don't do at parties. So I was like, surely there's a second bathroom.
Poop?
I had to poop.
Okay.
And I stumbled into the Coke room at a party.
Yes.
And when I was like, oh, so sorry, looking for the bathroom. Awkward, you know. And I was going to tell that story.
So when Erica said, "Oh, I've got a story about a Coke room," it was the host's Coke room, and I was like, "Oh, I have a story like that. I just can't tell it because it was a famous Hollywood celebrity's party." And then she said, "Who?" And I revealed the person. It's the same person.
The same person. We were at the same holiday party years apart from each other.
Yeah, this holiday party happens every year, and apparently every year I don't think I was pooping. I think I just had to pee and the line was long and I was looking for another bathroom. Walked in, I said, "Oh, excuse me. I so sorry. I loved you in blank. Thanks for having me."
Thanks for having me. Oh my God. We did the same thing at the same party, and I think it was just not the same year.
Yeah, 100%. Because I feel like I knew you back then, so I would have known.
Yeah, for sure. I would have said, "Hey, I'm happy to see you at this party."
Happy to see you. Would you like to help me find the alternative bathroom? And I would have been like, "Oh, I was actually here a couple years ago. Be careful when you look for the alternative bathroom. You're going to discover the host doing cocaine."
Yes.
I mean, you know, what a little Hollywood thing that we got to share. But I am nervous for this Hollywood celeb now.
Yes, evidently they like to party, and I hope that they are doing it safely. And that's a PSA to everyone. If you party, don't. If you can help it, it's illegal. But
are you saying party specifically for like the booger sugar or anything?
Yeah, party meaning if you do cocaine, test it for fentanyl. I will give you fentanyl testing strips. I don't do drugs, but like I want everyone to be safe. And there has been a lot of bad booger sugar going around that is laced with fentanyl, and it is getting serious.
People are dying.
Yeah.
Not to like make light of a bad situation, but that was my first time saying booger sugar out loud. Was it yours?
I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't like how it felt.
It felt silly.
Yeah. I think I'd rather say cocaine.
Cocaine.
Booger sugar. It feels like we're making light of
a serious situation.
Of cocaine.
Yeah.
Well, why are you trash, since we couldn't have that conversation?
Because we'll never work in this town again.
I mean, we would have had to like bleep that shit out or like edit it out. So, you know.
Well, I went to another Hollywood adjacent party this week. I had a friend's 30th birthday, and they threw it at a house in the Hollywood Hills overlooking the Hollywood Reservoir.
Sweet.
It was beautiful. It was like a pool party. There was DJs. It was catered, like very nice. A wonderful, wonderful event. And there was a cake, an ice cream cake.
Okay.
And after everyone had their share of the cake, I couldn't find where the plates and the forks were. So I cut myself a piece of cake and ate it with my hands at this swanky Hollywood house.
Wait, had you already had your share?
No, this was my share, was eating it with my hands.
where were you when they were cutting the cake?
I was like on the other side of the hot tub, and I didn't want to like move from my chill location.
Oh, but you knew you wanted cake.
I knew I wanted cake.
Jesus
and so,
Christ, an ice cream cake with your hands?
yeah, I cut it. It was like slicing right through it because it just was melting as I was eating it.
Did you cut it with your hands as well?
No, I had a knife. A knife was provided, but the cutlery and like tiny cake plates were missing from the party spread.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And you washed your hands in the hot tub?
And then I washed my hands in the hot tub. No. And I did this like not like in shame, in the dark, away from people. Like me and my friend did this in front of other people, and we're like, sorry, we're trash.
It seems almost like you did it, and then if someone was like, oh, there was no forks or plate or whatever, and then you would be like, nope, guess we have to use our hands. No, like it's just like almost like accusatory, whilst like you could have just asked more people or waited.
Yeah, all options, but your girl just plowed on. How are you trash this week?
Well, I have a couple, and I didn't know where to land. You know, we didn't record last week for Labor Day and also because of technical difficulties. So it's like the one that I have almost feels old, but we went to the Greek Theater in Hollywood, and we saw Future Islands. They were requiring proof of vaccination. It was great. And at the Greek Theater, they have a couple options. You know, let me start from the beginning. We went to Mess Hall, which is down the street from the Greek, like down the hill. And I've had Mess Hall a few times in Los Feliz, and I'm like, this place fucking sucks. Like, the atmosphere is good. You want it to be good, but this place fucking sucks. And so I stopped going there for a long time. And then we needed somewhere to go before the Greek, and I was like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Whatever, let's just try it. Let's go back to Mess Hall. And I went back to Mess Hall, and it was so good this time that I went and left them a Yelp review.
Oh, wow.
That's how good it was this next time around. I was like, this place cleaned their act up in COVID, 5 stars. Okay, anyways, so we had a couple drinks there. We went up to the Greek, and the Greek Theater has a couple options when it comes to drinks. It's a little expensive, as you would expect at a concert, but they have a glass of wine and a carafe of wine. Now, a carafe of wine is about $2 more than the price of 2 glasses of wine, and I was intrigued because I'd remember the one time I went to the Greek with a couple friends, shout out Ashley Snyder, and she got the carafe of wine, and I remember it being quite a bit. So I was like, all right, I'm going to try it. The bartender proceeded to take out basically like a clear plastic big gulp size cup and pour an entire bottle of wine into that cup, and then just lid and straw. Here you go.
Here you go.
It was fucking incredible. And then, well, because he offers 2 cups on the side. I said, no, I'm okay. I'll drink from the straw. Thank you.
He assumed you were sharing like a normal person.
He literally like didn't even try to take a drink order from my partner until my partner was like, oh, and can I grab something too? Because I was like, this is only for me. And I mean, me and my partner didn't have to communicate that. He knew. And so, yeah, we went to the seats. We had a great time. My partner did run out of beer and kind of was looking at my carafe, and I calmly, as I danced, shook my head no, and he had to go and get more alcohol for himself. I finished that whole bottle of fucking wine.
Good on you.
Thank you. Thank you. I was proud of myself.
Oh my goodness.
You know who's probably not proud of themselves?
A Redwood City man.
Yeah, let's get to our first story.
Redwood City man arrested for breaking into jail.
Well, you know, if you want to be in there so bad.
A Redwood City man who allegedly broke into the Maple Street Correction Center in Redwood City August 13th was arrested by a correctional officer, pleaded not guilty to 2 misdemeanors in court Wednesday, in the San Mateo County District Attorney's Office said.
By the way, this comes to us from smdailyjournal.com. We have to, you know, get our...
Cite our sources.
100%. Prosecutors say that Moises Donna Robles, 35, claimed to be getting away from a man with a gun and did not know that he entered a county jail, but admitted to being under the influence of meth and alcohol. The correctional officer saw Robles sitting in the lobby and thought he was an inmate before recognizing him as a trespasser in street clothes.
Video surveillance showed he climbed an exterior and interior fence, climbed up the second floor patio, went into the jail through the patio door, prosecutors said.
All this to escape a man with a gun?
I mean, I'd almost rather get, grazed. Not shot, just grazed.
Well, what makes you, if you stop, what are the odds that you're going to get grazed?
Oh, pretty bad. I don't know. I watch a lot of action movies, and it seems like a lot of, near misses happen. And have you shot a gun? It's hard to actually hit something.
So you're saying that these action movies are accurate?
Yeah, unless you're a trained marksman, like a moving target, I couldn't hit it, and I've shot guns.
But aren't all the goons in those action movies supposed to be trained marksmen? I never understood that part about action movies. I'm how the fuck did that guy get through all that? How did our hero get through all that gunfire? Are these people literally just the worst shots?
Yeah.
Anyway, it didn't matter. I don't know. You're climbing an exterior interior fence up to the second floor. I mean, it's just how do you even know to go to the second floor? And if I was running from a gunman, I wouldn't go up.
No, I'd go far away and down.
Something.
I would not think to climb.
I think this guy was lying.
Cassandra, his honor. How dare you?
I think this guy who was high on meth and alcohol was not running from a man with a gun. And if he was, the man with a gun was probably jail security.
I was running from security, so I ran into the jail.
Aren't jails are usually kind of far out?
Prisons are typically far away. Jails are normally within counties and cities.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There's that one downtown.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the difference between jail and prison.
Okay, so I'm not a lawyer, but jail is a temporary and it's a lesser sentenced area. So you're in jail while you're awaiting trial and during a trial typically, and then you go to prison once you're sentenced, I believe.
What about the little jails that they hold people in police offices or police stations?
Oh, those are just local jails, jail cells within a police department. Yeah.
I would say that the person in our next story had a good lawyer.
A pretty good lawyer, for sure. Let's get into it from odditycentral.com.
Drunk man gets in bar fight, sues bar for getting him drunk, wins $5.5 million.
Which is a starter home in LA.
Mm-hmm.
A Texas man who sustained injuries after being involved in a bar fight 2 years ago sued the bar owner for overselling him alcohol and was awarded $5.5 million in a default judgment.
Daniel Rawls claims that after drinking at the La Fogata restaurant in Andrews, I feel like every city's got a La Fogata.
I forgot about it.
It's a Mexican place, but yes.
Oh, got it. Okay, I went Italian. I'm an idiot.
No.
Proceed.
I liked what you did. I'm having spaghetti later, so. On May 21st, 2019, he and another patron, Robert Hendrickson, got into an altercation in the parking lot of the restaurant, and as a result, Daniel Rawls suffered head injuries that his lawyer claimed could have been avoided if the restaurant hadn't continued serving alcohol to both men who were visibly inebriated. And in the complaint, La Fogata's owner and bartender were accused of allowing the two men to drink excessively and leave the restaurant together, as well as not calling an ambulance for Rawls after he was injured.
Damn.
I'm going to take a shot in the dark.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to say that Daniel Rawls is the kind of guy who doesn't always make sure that his collar is all the way down when he's wearing a polo. It might be popped.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
His dad might have something to say about this. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? He's the type of guy that will soon be duct taped to an airplane seat.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I read this story and I go, the absolute nerve to blame a bar for the fact that you and some other asshole got so wasted and then went into the parking lot and get in a fight and then this guy punched you in the face. That you would sue the restaurant. The absolute nerve. But then on the other hand, I'm like, does this work? because I could use $5.5 million.
I could take a 5.5. I went to Pappy and Harriet's on Friday and ordered so many drinks that at one point I had to borrow one of like the carriers, like a tray, and then brought them to my friends that were outside. And I was like, I shouldn't have this many drinks at once. What if these are all for me?
I mean, what if?
I mean, I'm talking shots, cocktails, beers. I was passing out drinks like I was the Easter Bunny, passing out candy and treats. Like,
What?
You know how the Easter Bunny gives away?
The Easter Bunny leaves baskets in the morning and hides eggs.
And someone dressed like the Easter Bunny gives candy away? Oh, I feel like we've had two different cultural experiences growing up.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe you're right, but like, I don't.
I'm just going to double down because that's what I do. But anyway.
I'm going to double down and say, what the fuck are you talking about? The Easter Bunny doesn't walk around handing out candy. Was this, Halloween?
Well, I was passing out drinks like I worked there.
And that is a better joke.
Okay. All right. Good enough. But I was. And then I got my bar tab and I was like, this is far too little. So I tipped very well because I was counting the drinks the next day. And I was like, there's no way.
Were people Venmoing you or it was just on you?
I thought people would get me back, but it hasn't happened. And so I'm like, maybe this was just on me today.
You gotta ask.
I know. I know. I felt cool in the moment passing out drinks to friends.
Hell yeah.
But the reason I brought up Pappy and Harriet's and the drinking in general was that there was 3 girls and 3 boys that were in a group all together attending this concert. And the joke of the night was that if we met 3 other girls and 3 other guys that were in a group, we were going to fight them.
Oh, I see.
So we were on the hunt looking for a fight.
And you guys, I mean, I have a feeling that either Robert or Daniel in this story might have been the same.
Yeah, I definitely feel like they came in looking for an altercation.
Also, like, this Robert Hendrickson guy, he's probably like, thank God that he decided to sue the restaurant and not me.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Speaking of kind of suing somebody, let's get into our next story from the insider.com.
A Chicago couple posted a $240 invoice to their no-call, no-show guests who didn't attend their destination wedding. Ooh-wee, this is trashy.
Mm-hmm. Well, on both ends. You can't no-call, no-show.
Okay, from this story, did you gather, did these people RSVP yes and then just didn't show?
That's what I gathered, yeah.
Okay. I mean, fine. That's bullshit. If you're going to RSVP yes and you don't go, that's shitty. Or at least, I mean, like, because a lot of these venues, I feel like if you get them like the week before, you can change the number.
Right.
So like you need to let someone know unless there's like a crazy thing that happened like that day.
Right. They RSVP'd according to the article and then did a no-show on the wedding.
Yeah. Now that being said, so this couple posted this like $240 invoice because they had a reception in Jamaica, and it says the amount above is the cost of your individual seats because you didn't call or give us proper notice that you wouldn't be in attendance. This is the amount you owe us for paying for your seats in advance.
The New York Post identified the couple as Doug Simmons and Deidre McGee from Chicago. Simmons had originally posted the bill on Facebook with the hashtag petty post and told the Insider that he never delivered the invoice.
I mean, I think that's why it's so trashy to me because, like, at the same time, it's like, this is petty as fuck, but not in the way that I like it.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, send it, but don't post it on Facebook. Like,
don't do it. Don't do it.
I think it proves a point.
You think it proves a point?
A little bit. Weddings are expensive.
Here's how I handle that. You don't talk to these people anymore. And if they reach out and go, "Hey, love to see ya," then that's when you go, "Hey, dick, remember my wedding in Jamaica that you were RSVP'd yes to? It was our prepaid seats. You know that. What the fuck? That's when you bring it up. You don't just like post on like Facebook of like, here's for all the people who didn't fucking show up.
Well, it's a destination wedding and they repeatedly asked them if they were coming and they said yes repeatedly.
Okay, then yes, then send it. Fine. I don't know. This is just this like weddings are weird.
People get weird about weddings.
I mean, they're expensive as fuck, but like, it's also like, I mean, this to me, if I was having a destination wedding, you said yes, and I paid, I imagine it's like a couple, so it's like $240, like, so that's $120 a head. Like, I would just never speak to those people again, which maybe that's more petty. I don't know.
I'm non-confrontational, so I'm learning how to speak up in the moment in therapy and like have difficult conversations, whereas like I won't have them. So who's to say what I would really do? Like I can sit here and be like, I would say something, but like actual action Erica would just probably never say anything. And then, yeah, just ghost them as friends.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. Or, I mean, even sending a text message when you get back into town from Jamaica, be like, hey, what happened?
Yeah, are you okay? I got worried when you didn't show up to the wedding.
I assume that it must have been pretty serious for you to cancel the flights that you must have booked since you said yes.
And the hotel that you booked.
Yeah, totally.
So you got to fly to Jamaica or take a boat. And the woman in our next story is probably never going to be allowed to fly again.
According to the BusinessInsider.com, videos show a woman being escorted off a Spirit Airlines flight for lighting a cigarette and reportedly blowing smoke in an asthma sufferer's face. The Business Insider, their headlines,
yeah,
they just take the most chaotic parts of the story and put it all together.
An unidentified woman is being escorted by deputies off a Spirit Airline flight from Detroit because she violated federal law by lighting a cigarette on the plane cabin, the Miami Herald reported.
So the footage was taken by a fellow passenger who was making a TikTok, and it shows a woman smoking a cigarette as the plane taxis on the tarmac at Fort Lauderdale International Airport. So the TikTok, she's basically like, hey, can you stop smoking? And the woman replies like, it's been a long day and it's been hell.
Listen, I get it. Getting through the airport is hell. Even with pre-check. It's hell to get through an airport. I'm
the kind of person that like, if someone is like, gives that little of a fuck, because I think like I've never lived in a time, like I don't know when they got rid of smoking on airplanes, but it was definitely before I was born. It had to have been, right?
Surely.
I think I swallowed a bug. Oh, shit. Why did that happen to me?
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Sorry. Don't cut that. People need to know what I go through.
Okay. My struggle.
In 1988, airlines based in the United States banned smoking on domestic flights of less than 2 hours. And then it was extended to flights less than 6 hours in February 1990. And then all domestic and international flights in 2000. So domestic flights, because I was born in April 1990. So you couldn't smoke on United States flights unless they were longer than 6 hours. Until 2000. Holy shit.
That's wild.
Anyways, when I see someone giving those little of fucks, I think I've said this before on this podcast, but like smoking on an airplane and then just being like, it's been hell. Like to me, I'm like, this woman is from the future. and she tried to come back to fix something.
Uh-huh.
Maybe she succeeded, maybe she didn't, but this is the end of her story, and she just needs to unwind with a cigarette and an airplane. Like, that's what I think. I'm like, she knows something that we don't know. Like, she knows that there's no possible trouble that she could get in that is worse than what is to come in the future.
Yeah, this is a very Terminator, come with me if you want to live moment.
Yeah.
But she failed.
Yeah, like she's a time traveler, so she knows, yeah, they're gonna escort me off the flight. I know exactly what happens. Or like she's stuck in like a time continuum. I don't know. All I know is that she's probably not a human.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Let's get into our next story from from complex.com. High school football team may have lied to ESPN to play on national TV.
It's been a rough week for ESPN. On Sunday, ESPN aired a high school football game between Florida's IMG Academy and Ohio's Bishop Sycamore. And anyone who watched the game could see as plain as day that IMG Academy is good and Bishop Sycamore is bad. Like, really bad.
While we've seen mismatched opponents square off nationally televised games before, this was something entirely different. IMG are defending national champs and consistently one of the best teams in the country. Apparently, ESPN was under the impression that Bishop's program was also stacked with top recruits.
So Bishop Sycamore was so outmatched that the game ended in 58-0, and that the game announcers were just reacting in real time because they seemed concerned for the safety of the Bishop players and that they were not engaged in a fair fight.
Okay, so you lie about your talent to get on national TV, and then you get humiliated on national TV. What is the point?
Yes, and so then basically the ESPN people were like, what the fuck happened? And then they were like, well, we didn't verify their roster. And then it appears that it's an online-only charter school with a website that resembles a blog. And then they found out more that this isn't even a real fucking school.
Yeah, the team went 0-6 last year and is routinely blown out.
Apparently, this school... First of all, the team's head coach is someone who has an active arrest warrant thanks to fraud charges. And then most of their players have already graduated high school. So it's just like a bunch of adults like playing
high school
football, getting rocked, pretending that they're at a real... it's fucking crazy.
It's wild. What do you get out of that? Other than saying, I've been on TV.
Well, I mean, maybe they're trying to get recruited into colleges, but like if you get recruited into, like, I don't think you have to play high school to get recruited into a college if you're good enough. And also, like, when you get recruited, what are you going to say? Like, hey, I am a 20-year-old senior at my online school.
At my online school.
But I would really love to come and play for the University of Alabama Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. It's fucking wild.
I just love that the announcers were like, this is bad. Like, are they okay?
Yeah.
This also seems like a situation where maybe it's just a bunch of time travelers.
Yeah, they're like, it's our one last chance.
Or like, like, hey, like, if this team doesn't win, then, what's a weird time thing?
Baby Hitler will come back.
Bingo. If this team doesn't win, baby Hitler's going to come back. And they're like, oh my God, we have to get a plan to make this team come back. Well, I have a plan. You're going to have to play him. Zoinks, we have to play them? Okay. I'm right. The screenplay writes itself.
It writes itself. Let's get on a production meeting after this call.
Got it.
Oh my goodness. Our next story is sent in by a loyal listener, Victoria.
We love Victoria.
From slate.com. Help! Someone has been stealing breast milk at work.
He still works here, but I may never know who he is. How do I get over this?
I recently returned to my job at a large company after maternity leave. I share 2 lactation rooms with several other women and store my milk in the mini fridge there during the day. A while back, I noticed that the milk I pumped and recorded didn't add up to the end of the day by roughly an ounce. It happened a total of 3 times over about 2 months.
So this woman starts talking to the other lactating. That's not how you refer to women who are nursing. The lactating women. What do you call them?
Yeah, lactating persons. Yeah.
Breastfeeding women. I don't know. She talks to the other women who just had a baby and who were breastfeeding. And they were all like, oh yeah, same. We're off by an ounce. What's up?
So they went to HR And HR took the complaint very seriously, and the other women verified that they had similar experiences. HR added a secure keycard entry to the doors in addition to the lock on the inside.
But there's a sign. It says that there's a sign out front that says literally like lactation room or something like that.
I think that's like an advertisement for whoever's stealing this milk.
Yeah, they said that some guy was who tried to get in, but then like left, like according to security cameras. But I don't know if they were able to see who it was from the cameras. But like this guy thought he was being so sneaky by like just taking 1 ounce from each.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ugh.
Yeah. Big time ugh. There's around 700 people that work at this company in this building, and they don't know who to trust anymore.
Pretty crazy. I think it's a requirement that companies provide space for lactation, but there's an Instagram called IA_stories, and it's IATSE Stories, which is the one of the film unions that is sharing a lot of stories of being on cruise. They're pretty horrifying stories, but one of them was talking about like the lactation like areas that they're, required to have, and how this woman who was in the art department, she was like, hey, like there's like 2 or 3 of us who need to do this, and we're basically like either doing them like in dressing rooms that are being used all the time or wherever we can find them, because they haven't given them an actual designated place. And they were like, these offices here that the producers have, they're never used. Like, and then their response from their higher ups were like, oh my God, but the producer's gonna be so mad if someone was in there. And so this woman was like, I ended up putting a big thing of fabric over a desk and went under the desk and pumped under there.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's a bummer. So yeah, we need good places to use pumps without having weirdos steal an ounce at a time, and also with privacy.
Yeah, absolutely. And go check out that Instagram, because it's sharing horrific conditions that crew members have worked under. And it's important, and there should be more protections to make the entertainment that you love. Yeah.
There's some other entertainment that I love if you'd like to hear about it.
Oh, I'd love to hear about it.
Well, when I was in Joshua Tree, down the street from where you were talking about being at Pappy and Harriet's, there was a petting zoo with baby goats.
A literal dream of mine.
It was pretty fucking major. I have a picture of myself holding a goat on Instagram. It was definitely one of the high points of my life.
I've probably told this story on the podcast before, but I one time hired a goat for a live show, and it headbutted me in the tit, and it was everything to me. So all this to say, our next story from the MiamiHerald.com, a Keys man stole a miniature goat. The owner says Billy the Kidder came home drunk.
Oh, what a silly name for a goat. Billy the Kidder.
He's a miniature goat who lives in the Florida Keys. Billy the Kidder is a miniature goat who lives in the Florida Keys. He isn't used to excitement. His interests include mowing yards and enjoying air conditioning.
But on Thursday, a Keys man stole Billy from the woman's yard and took him for a spin around Big Pine Key. At 5:12 p.m., the Monroe County Sheriff's Office reported that there was a man passed out next to his bicycle with a goat along for the ride.
I started laughing when they called me, said Deputy Tom Frick, a 28-year-old veteran of the sheriff's office. He had to double check that he heard it right.
Frick arrived at the Tom Thumb convenience store and found the small goat tethered to a bike, and then it was next to a man who was sleeping in the grass.
He's one of our local homeless drunks, Frick said.
What?
He's just a local, I guess. Not very nice of Frick, but...
I mean, like, I don't know. I grew up in big city. Like, is it normal to have a local drunk?
Yes. Like, very small town.
A local homeless drunk.
Yeah, they would, like, hobos is what you would have called them back in the day, probably. But that's probably not very nice.
So the owner of the goat and the owner of the convenience store didn't press charges. She just wanted her goat back.
Mm-hmm.
It almost feels like it's like, oh, our local homeless drunk. What are you going to do? Here's your goat back, miss.
Like a shrug emoji is what you'd put next to this article.
It's like so crazy. But apparently she got the goat back and the goat was drunk.
Classic. I mean, who takes pleasure in getting animals drunk?
Well, nobody likes to drink alone.
I guess you're right. Unless it's me with a glass of wine watching the 3rd season of The Circle.
Shut the fuck up. I haven't started yet.
I just started today.
Oh my God. I didn't even know that Netflix was going to do that to us.
Yeah, they're like, oh, y'all still inside? We got your back.
It feels too soon. It's almost like, I feel like they're like, oh, you guys are not inside anymore? Get back.
Fucking get back inside. We got some shit for you.
I just I want to watch it so bad, but I don't know how I'm going to make the transition because I'm in the same Drag Race hole that you were in a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get out.
It's just such good entertainment.
I don't like when anything else is on TV.
I've started to work to Drag Race. I watch it while I work instead of listening to podcasts anymore.
Me too. It's all I've got a 2-computer setup, and on my personal computer, it's always just Drag Race playing. What the fuck?
Definitely how Mama Ru wanted Drag Race to be ingested.
Quickly
and half distracted.
Okay, but I'll tell you this, I don't take shit from anybody now. From at work.
Good.
I'm sassy in emails.
Ooh, it's the drag in you.
Yeah, I'm throwing shade in every email.
Per my last email.
Yeah, per my last email, the library is open.
Maybe we have a disconnect. That's my favorite. Maybe we have a disconnect, which is you're fucking wrong. That's the work way of saying you're wrong.
I just say you're wrong now.
Oh, I love it. I love the boldness.
There's a thing that you think about where you're when you think about a woman in a company who's just known as a bitch, when you're oh, Jesus, Erica's such a fucking bitch. Can we not mess up on this project? It's from Erica and I really don't want to deal with her. And then that project gets done right.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be that bitch. I don't care if people think I'm an asshole. If they just don't screw up because they don't want to deal with what a bitch I am, great. Is that abuse?
No. I mean, as long as you say stuff like, thank you, I think it's fine, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It didn't even sound like abuse to me until I said it out loud just now.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Anyways.
Speaking of let's get into our next story from journalstar.com. Omaha man stabs himself in the leg while driving, holding a knife, and eating Taco Bell.
Now, when I first read that headline, I was like, what fucking clown is using a knife to eat Taco Bell?
Oh, yeah. I hadn't even thought about it. I assume it's not the plastic knife. It's a knife.
Yeah, so it's a 39-year-old Omaha man. He inadvertently stabbed himself in the leg. He picked up some food at the Taco Bell just before 2 a.m. and then was on his way to give some to his girlfriend. What a good guy.
Confession, yesterday I was driving home hungover from Joshua Tree.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped at the Taco Bell, which is a block and a half from my house. I couldn't finish my chalupa, and then 3 hours later I woke up from a nap and then I ate cold Taco Bell. That's the kind of hungover I was yesterday.
You put it in the fridge though, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. I thought that you were I went back to my car, grabbed the chalupa that I had left there.
No. I mean, I'm gross, but I'm not that gross.
Sure. Taco Bell's awesome when you're hungover.
Mm-hmm.
Until it's not.
True. Till Taco Bell's revenge.
Mm-hmm.
As he was eating and driving, he later told police he was talking to a friend via Bluetooth speaker and looking at a knife that his friend gave him. He then drove through a large pothole or hit a bump on the road. The jolt made him accidentally stab his right thigh with the knife, the police said.
The man was left with a 1-inch puncture wound at the top of his right thigh. And then he headed to a nearby Nebraska medical center where he waved down security officers and asked where the emergency room was. He wasn't like arrested, was he?
I don't know. I think this was more like made the scanner, but it doesn't sound like he got arrested.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't play with knives while you're driving.
No, never a good idea. Not even admiring them on a Bluetooth speaker with your friend.
I like that it's very specific of like, no, officer, I was speaking to my friend via Bluetooth speaker.
Mm-hmm. I was not holding the cell phone while driving because I had the Taco Bell in my hand.
Duh. Yeah, it's a good thing to do when you're drunk.
Mm-hmm.
What's a bad thing to do when you're drunk?
Make a bet.
Yes. According to mirror.co.uk, 3 friends run 258 miles at altitude across remote mountains after a drunken bet. You know what I have to say to that? Fuck you.
Yeah, like, one of you should have had to, like, shave an eyebrow or, like, paint your toes black. Like, that's a bet, you know?
Like, they were drunk and they thought that they would be the first people in history to complete this journey on foot. But, like, it was like they spun a globe and picked a random destination and promised to complete a run wherever their finger landed.
And it sent them to Tajikistan in Central Asia. I have a friend from Tajikistan.
Oh.
Yeah. That's why I know how to pronounce that word, is because
Great.
Yeah. That's how I know how to pronounce it.
They ran from the border of Afghanistan to China across the Bartang Valley, which is one of the most remote and desolate areas in the world, and passes through the Pamir Mountains.
Jody said, "All right, I'm a runner, but even better drunk. The drunken bet became my obsession. I knew nothing about Tajikistan. Looking at the country, I wasn't even sure where to start."
If you have like the athletic ability to run 258 miles, these people must have just like all 3 like shared a White Claw. And then they were like, we're fucking wasted.
We're wasted.
Grab your globe. I want to take a jog.
I feel like they just wanted to do something and they needed a story to justify it.
Right, that made them sound like cool and not like a bunch of clowns who just wanted to run.
Mm-hmm.
Just and go running.
Why do we reward people for running? Like, why do you get medals at marathons? It's like running should be done to get away from predators. Like, that's the only time running should be rewarded. Is
some people get high off of it, Erica.
I don't understand a runner's high. I literally do not understand a runner's high. I've never had one. I've had to run. I've done 5Ks. Like, I hate running. I hate it. I fucking hate running. I don't care who knows it.
Did you ever have to do the thing like when you were like in middle school or high school or whatever, where it was like, okay, like everyone go run the mile, and like if you can't get it at 6 or 7 minutes, then the rest of your year is dedicated to that, and whoever hits 6 minutes doesn't have to do the run anymore?
No, I think I cracked an 8-minute mile for softball. Like that was like a requirement, and so that's the fastest I've ever run a mile.
Yeah, I just remember like I'm like, you know, because I went to middle school like in like the Deep Valley. It was like Santa Clarita, and it was just like hot, and like me and like my punk friends didn't give a fuck, so we were clocking like 17-minute miles. We were just walking.
Oh, see, I was like a competitive softball player, and so that was like the only reason I ran. And I was like, listen, I hit the ball real far, so I don't have to run fast. Like what could have been a triple for most people was a double for me.
I hit the bar real far, so I don't have to run fast is engraved on Mark McGuire's statue.
Yeah.
I hit the ball real far, so I don't have to run fast.
Yeah.
Give me money.
Give me money, please. I'm not doping. Speaking of doping, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm fucking ready.
It's time for the dumpster fire of the week. According to the Insider.com, Oklahoma's ERs are so backed up from people overdosing on ivermectin that gunshot victims have to wait to be treated, a doctor says.
Ivermectin is the ringworm preventing horse drug?
Yes, it's a dewormer medication meant for livestock.
And why are they taking this?
Because they think it helps prevent and or treats COVID. Yeah. Like, it's like, I'm like embarrassed of Oklahoma. I mean, they're not the only state. Like, it's happening in Mississippi. It's happening all over the South. It's happening here in California in our backyard. It's just people that listen to Joe Rogan are taking ivermectin. And
like, why who told him? You know?
There was a study done of like 10 people. And then the study has been like thrown out because it was that's not a sample size to do an experiment, and it was done poorly. And like that's just like throwing a dart at the wall and just seeing what name popped up. Like it's insanity.
What a clown. All right, so there's basically these people are overdosing on this. And like, I guess they're showing how dire it is by comparing it to people who show up to the ER with a gunshot wound, which you would, if you had a gunshot wound, be seen right away.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no room.
There's no room because people are overdosing on this horse dewormer and cow dewormer. So people suffering from ramifications of taking doses meant for full-size horses. Do you know how big horses are? Do you know how fucking big a horse is? Like, it's way more than 600 pounds. Like, horses weigh like 2,000 pounds. Like, they're like cars.
Well, isn't an elephant 2,000 pounds?
Maybe I don't understand scale.
Oh, no, wait,
probably.
I just Googled it. A horse is 840 to 2,200 pounds.
So people are taking doses meant for 2,200 pound horses and are having vision loss, nausea, and vomiting.
Damn, elephants weigh a lot.
Yeah, elephants are big. If you learn one thing from Trashy this week, elephants are big.
Shit, I'm sorry. I can't believe it. I thought like 2,500 pounds is a ton, right? So I'm like, oh, a ton is a lot. It's like nothing, only an elephant could possibly be a ton. But now apparently horses are a ton, which means that elephants must be like multiple tons.
Yeah. Elephants.
I'll take this off air.
Are big. Okay.
I'll take this huge realization off air. Oh boy. So they're losing their vision, nausea, vomiting, just the things, but at least it's not COVID.
3 major Oklahoma hospital systems have no available ICU beds, the Tulsa World reported.
It's fucking crazy, man.
Oklahoma has had almost 600,000 COVID cases and nearly 8,000 deaths, according to the New York Times case tracker.
So there's been a 21% increase in COVID in the past 14 days. And sucks for them because all these people are taking up the beds for gunshot wound victims and COVID patients.
Think about, like, if you have a heart attack right now, you've got to wait.
Because some dick took horse medicine.
Yeah. Oh, and it's like, are these people, they won't get the vaccine because they, quote, don't know what's in it? And you're taking horse dewormer. Like, this can be controversial. You can turn off this episode. Like, we don't need you as listeners if this offends you.
Oh, shit.
Get vaccinated and don't take horse dewormer.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh my goodness.
Get vaccinated. I agree.
Hi.
And actually, that's a good segue to what I'm hoarding, if you'd like to know.
I'd love to know what you're hoarding.
So I said it in the beginning when we went to the Greek theater, and I'm hoarding this, is a place that requires vaccines.
Hell yeah. Pappy and Harriet's on Friday required vaccines for their outdoor show.
They said, prove it. Show it to me. Show me that you got vaccinated, or show me a negative COVID test. But you can't come in without one or the other. I fucking love it. And I mean, I know that Biden came out with all these new OSHA regulations, which like businesses bigger than 100 people are going to be forced to require vaccines. And like, that's all great. And I love it. And like, let's keep going because this is exhausting and the vaccines are safe. They really are.
It's like astonishing. I'm just like lost for words.
I'm shook at like how there's people, like so many people who are like absolutely won't get it. But like it's something that like I was so excited to get.
Oh, I couldn't wait. I was like first one out the door as soon as I was eligible.
Yeah, I was so fucking excited to get it.
Yeah. It's wild.
What are you hoarding?
I'm hoarding a documentary on Amazon called Lulu Rich.
Oh.
About the rise and fall of Lululemon, the clothing brand company.
Ooh.
Which is very funny that Amazon is showcasing someone that has exploited workers.
Well, you know.
But it's about Mark and Diane and they're actually in like the founders of LuLaRoe are interviewed because they're narcissists and think that they're telling their quaint story and that it's good. But then about halfway through, they start to realize, oh, this is a gotcha piece, not a fluff piece. And it's, you see their body language change. It's like pretty wild. Yeah. Yeah. Mark and Deanne are mic'd and are like, I killed them all. And you're like, wait, what? I thought you just sold bad leggings and exploited women.
Killed them all. Of course I did.
Of course I did.
Burping.
Yeah.
That sounds juicy.
It's really good. Yeah. Are you throwing anything away?
I used to call it Lulamon. I didn't realize that it was Lululemon. I thought that was like too simple. Of course, it must be.
It might be Lululemon. I don't know. I've never heard it.
I think it's Lululemon because when I said Lululemon to someone, everyone looked at me like I was a fucking idiot.
It's LuLaRoe, I think,
but it's Lululemon.
Yeah, Lululemon.
It's the fancy stuff. Yeah, I said Lululemon, and like I was like looked at as if I was eating like pizza with a spoon.
I love it.
I'm throwing out just a general. Get out of my face, Texas. Bye.
Fucking bye, Texas.
You're so annoying with your with this new abortion law. Like, bye, get away. But I won't get into it because I feel like we know. They know.
Our stance is clear.
Pro-abortion. I'm throwing out people using public bathrooms for too long.
Okay.
I am so fucking impatient in a bathroom line. What are you doing in there? Hurry up. Like, there's a line out here. And I feel like you're just doing the most. Like, I'm listening to, like, I can hear you go in. You know that there's a line. Waiting. I hear the toilet flush. I perk up. I'm like, yes, they're almost done. And then it's, like, the sink, like, happy birthday twice. 2 rounds of the like air thing. And like, yeah, they're just using the bathroom. But like, am I crazy that I think that you should pick up the fucking pace when there's a line?
I'm with you. I'm 100% on team Cassandra.
Like, people have commented on how fast I pee when they've been in line. They're like, oh my God, that was so fast. I'm like, hell yeah, it was.
Hell yeah, because there's a line and I'm considerate.
Yeah. You go? I'm not touching my fucking phone. No, you go pee. You wash, you dry really quick, or you don't dry, and you just get out of there. Get out. Throwing that out. Hurry the fuck up. I can't be here all day.
I'm with you.
What are you throwing out?
Okay, I am throwing out something that has been heavily advertised to me, and I took advantage of promo codes that I've heard on other podcasts.
Ooh.
And I bought some Brooke linen sheets. When I tell you they are absolute dog shit, they are scratchy. Like, they're not comfortable at all.
Have you had linen sheets before?
Yes. I've had luxurious, very expensive linen sheets. And let me tell you, these were somewhat expensive, even with the promo code. But they're going right back to the factory.
Wow.
They're going back.
I mean, good for you. I did linen sheets and they were nice, I guess. But I almost kind of felt like it wasn't like my first choice. Like I kind of felt, and like the color faded really fast, and like they were fucking expensive. I can't remember what the businesses that it was, so I don't want to like, I can't really like, you know, call them out right now and really hurt them as much as I'd love to. But yeah, they're really fucking expensive, and like unfortunately, like unless you can afford to like go to like Parachute or something.
Yeah, it's garbage. Like, it's just garbage. Anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry that happened. Bye, Brooklinen. We don't want your advertisements.
Unless, of course, you want to pay us. And then it's like, I'll change my tune.
Yeah, I'll give him a shot. Maybe she didn't like him, but maybe I do.
Maybe Cassandra likes him.
Anyway. Promo code trashy, whatever.
Where can people find you?
At Cass Cardenas on Instagram and Twitter. And you can find me every Tuesday night on the Nooner podcast. And September 14th, the movie Violet is streaming for the Toronto Film Festival. You can get it online that day.
Yes.
If you want to watch me in a movie, Olivia Munn.
Which we all do.
Yeah. I wasn't, I'm not gonna lie, like I wasn't able to like figure it out the first time, like because it was on the 9th also, but I'm gonna try and see if I can do it this time. Otherwise, it is going to come out in theaters too.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations. Yeah. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where do they find you?
Yeah, you can find me at GillyGal on Twitter, which I had a fire tweet today.
Ooh.
I said, and hear me out, people. It's a pretty good tweet. I'd love it if you went and liked it because I've never tweeted anything funnier, I think. And I said, Hokey Pokey Anonymous, the place to turn yourself around.
Funny.
I think it's very funny.
Yeah,
so,
it's good.
Thank you. So if you wouldn't mind, go to at GillyGal and like that tweet. Give it a retweet. And then you can find me on Instagram at iconic Erica Curry.
Love it.
You can find this podcast at Trashy Trashy Pod on Instagram and on Twitter.
Please do.
Or you can email us while you're trash or a story at trashytrashypodcast@gmail.com. Hey, Cass.
What's going on, girl?
Stay garbage.
You stay garbage.
I will. Bye-bye.
Bye.